Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we'll be discussing the energy that will be prominent beginning today, the 23rd of October, and moving through the weekend. We've got a big week ahead of us this week. We've got a new moon partial solar eclipse in Scorpio on Tuesday. Venus is changing signs, Mercury is changing signs, and today Saturn goes direct. So let's break it down. Let's get started. Today, happy birthday, Scorpio. We have officially entered Scorpio season. Let's talk a little bit about Scorpio. Scorpio people are extremely passionate, very resourceful. Their intensity quite often can be overwhelming. So if you feel like the intensity of a situation or things are amping up, well, that's part of Scorpio season. Typically that means there's a transformation or a rising anew coming just around the corner. And I picked today's location. I'm in the woods behind my house again, and instead of showing water today, we're deep in the forest. The forest is in the process of shedding the old so that we can go into a cycle of hibernation and then emerge in the spring totally different, fresh, new, vibrant, and ready to move forward. But where we're at today, entering Scorpio season, it's time for us to drill down and rise again, be ready to rise again as the phoenix anew. Scorpio people also have a strong gut instinct or intuition, psychic abilities, if you will. They are typically powerful. Like I said, there's a lot of intensity that goes along with that. Now, a 3D manifestation of Scorpio energy can be very possessive or controlling, which, of course, we don't want to resonate in that energy. We'd like to assume that five-dimensional awareness of Scorpio, which is a phoenix rising from the ashes, being very observant, monitoring a situation, and understanding where your power lies within that. Now, the sun being in Scorpio overall it's under the surface. There's drilling down, transformations. It's great energy to make drastic changes or contemplate making drastic changes. And with the new moon partial eclipse on Tuesday, get ready to harvest a new beginning and recognition of not sacrificing yourself. Keep in mind, we're on the axis, the second house 8 house axis, which is all about self-worth. So now we've learned that we're not going to sacrifice ourselves for the sake of others, but finding a path of renewal that strengthens you, not distracts you or detracts from you. Lessons learned during the nodal shift, which occurred last year, which will end in about 6 months, has really, we are resonating in that, and it's easily applied now relative to your self-worth and where you're willing to sacrifice yourself for the greater good that returns to you in place and universal blessings. It's not all about the dollar, that's for sure. As well today, Venus moves into Scorpio, so that's relative to love and money with the same general philosophies. You know, deep connections are favored. The superficial engagements or chatting just for the sake of chatting, it's just not going to sit with you well now. Those deep connections can get possessive, and again, that's three-dimensional Scorpio. Let's be mindful of that and stay away from that. Stay in that 5D vibe for sure. And I know that sometimes trust can be difficult, but there's no shortage of loyalty, certainly during Scorpio season. Some of the most loyal people are Scorpio people, so we can depend on loyalty, even if sometimes trust is difficult. Also, don't be disappointed if it's not reciprocated. If you're putting a lot of effort into something and it's not being reciprocated, don't be disappointed. A Scorpio theory and philosophy is do what's best for you. Don't do it for the sake of others. Actually, you don't owe anybody anything. Moving on. Then on Tuesday, we have the new moon partial solar eclipse in Scorpio at 2 degrees. Lots of Scorpio energy this week, that's for sure, folks. There is as we discussed, we got the sun, moon, Mercury is finishing up Libra transit, and before the end of the week, Mercury is going to be moving into Scorpio. We are going to be digging deep at the time of the solar eclipse, stepping back, applying lessons. I know new moons are typically new beginnings, but with this being a Scorpio new moon, it might be time to kind of go into shelter mode before you break out into the new, taking accounting of things that are present in your life, because we also know it is eclipse season, and in exactly 2 weeks there'll be another eclipse, and that one's going to be letting things go. So we can now take a step back and see the things that are resonating with us. Again, that Scorpio energy of observation. Notching into or getting connected into your intuition to help guide you so you know what you need to let go of. And you're going to apply those lessons learned in that last heavy planet retrograde cycle. Like I said, Pluto just came out, Saturn is coming out of retrograde today. We've learned some serious lessons. And now it's time to rise like the phoenix, which we will do during Scorpio season. It's just kicking off. So let's continue that inventory process. The next full moon lunar eclipse that will be occurring on the 8th, we'll be able to let go of the things that no longer resonate with us so we can rise like the phoenix. So if you've been waiting for your phoenix to rise, it's time. I can't wait, to be honest. It is really, truly time for observation, however, and what resonates with your inner energy and what does not. What do you want to align yourself with and what you do not? Like I said, it is time now for, and at the time, let me back up. At the time of this new moon partial solar eclipse, we've got Jupiter is on the world axis stage at 0 degrees of Aries. We've got a positive connection with Pluto, and Jupiter is about to go retrograde in Pisces. Just keep an eye on what's expanding right now for you, with Jupiter getting ready to, and retrograde, but readying to take change signs, and a sextile with Pluto. It's really allowing us to apply discernment into what we are ready to let go of, and what we want to transcend, and what we want to ascend. So observation is key. Be mindful of controlling and jealousy during this Scorpio season. Again, that's a 3D component to Scorpio energy. Let's stay in that 5-dimensional energy. If you feel those things creeping in, you know that it's time to step back and step away. That's for sure. Watch for impulsiveness. There can be some knee-jerk reactions. If you're familiar with the Scorpio or know a Scorpio, that stinger at the end of their tail comes in quick, and sometimes it can be pretty hurtful. So just be mindful of impulsiveness. And we'll talk more about Mercury going into Scorpio next, but I have to tell you that Mercury going into Scorpio, we are going to have to be mindful of our tongues and make sure that we don't pull those stingers out and just zap some people. But before that happens, Friday, Jupiter enters Pisces. And Jupiter was in Pisces from May of 2021 till July of 2021. And then from December 2021 to May 22nd of this year, and now moving back into Pisces for its final retrograde before it moves back on forward into the sign of, Aries. What is this all about? It's all about finishing up the transit. It expands compassion. Jupiter in Pisces is all about compassion and intuition, creativity, and spirituality. These endeavors are supported, that's for certain. Any charitable efforts will be appreciated, that's for sure. And remember that the purpose here is to focus on compassion, even when things heat up. It is Scorpio season. We may see some crescendos, we may see some aggressiveness, but you know what? It's time to apply compassion. Be mindful of stepping into the ethers of reality, because Pisces is a very creative energy, but you can also become very ungrounded during this time. And when Jupiter is expanding that Pisces energy, reality can be challenging, but compassion is beautiful. Be aware of your limits, however, so you don't sacrifice yourself for the benefit of others who continue to zap your energy. Trust me, when Jupiter enters Pisces, these things will be brought to your attention, so that maybe that's something you need to let go of when it's time for this eclipse in 2 weeks. Now on Saturday the 29th, as I mentioned, Mercury enters Scorpio. Please be mindful. Thoughts and communications can be very intense and deeply seated now. Your power of concentration and communication is laser sharp. Be mindful of stinging people with your tongue or your words. I myself, today is actually my birthday. I am a cusper, and there are some times when I have reached out for sake of communications and been a little bit too intense. So as a Scorpio cusper, I can speak honestly about this. You just have to be mindful. Even if you feel overwhelmed by a situation, just be mindful of how you turn that around and voice it to others in your community. However, you might find yourself, because Mercury controls the mind too, you can find yourself being much more observant and going down rabbit holes very, very easily to solve a mystery of your mind, something that you're definitely thinking about. Then next Sunday, we got Mars in Gemini. It's going to go retrograde, and Mars, it's going to retrograde until January 12th, and then it won't come out of shadow until March, when I truly do believe we'll be flipping that new page. But let's stick with the energy of Mars retrograde in Gemini. On 9/3, Gemini went into shadow. Mars went into shadow in the sign of Gemini. So now we're going to visit that energy again that was present from 9/3 until today, so that we can reassess where we applied our action, anything Mars related, action, energy, passion, and fight, warrior-like spirit. And it's relative to what area Mars in Gemini falls in your chart. You may feel a little lethargic, because remember, Mars is all about action and aggression. Because it's retrograde, things may begin to slow down. You may feel a lot of lethargy. You feel like you need to get more sleep. Take it, do it. Why not, right? It's okay. We're in the process of review. Remember, it's a retrograde cycle. We can't review when we're going full speed ahead. So take the time necessary to do what you need to do. Well, that's all I have for you this week. However, I do want to share with you something. As the intense outside world continues to ramp up, and geez, it just seems like it's getting exponential these days, remember that we create our reality from the inside out. At least that's how I function, and it really has served me well. Maintain that equilibrium on the inside. Stay in your eagle's perch. It is Scorpio season, the sign of the eagle. Let's use that to our advantage. But I also want to point something out, just a couple things, if I could please, that are physical signs of new Earth. So as things start to crumble around us in that three-dimensional energy, again, top-down authority, hierarchy, governments, finance systems, that sort of thing, as these things that are no longer supported and begin to fall away, please notice, because there will be all kinds of media attention there. They won't be paying attention to the nature signs that show us that new Earth is being birthed, that we can attach to, that we can hold on to, and know that we are headed in the right direction. This week there was a article published, and I'll put a link in the comment, or in the section below, that leads you to this link. This week it was reported that the brightest gamma ray burst ever recorded rattled Earth's atmosphere earlier this month. That was the death of a massive star millions of light years ago. That phenomenon, that light has finally hit Earth. Coincidence? I think not. I think it's purposeful, and we're right on track. It is time for that phoenix to rise. The instigation of Scorpio season. 10 animals that we believe to be extinct are not. There were a couple of articles published earlier this spring. I'll see if I can find them and also post them in the section below that let you read there are at least 10 animals that that we thought were extinct that have come out. Perhaps they know more than we do. Perhaps they decided to hibernate a little bit because of the outward workings of the world was just a little too harsh for them. So they went a little deeper in, and now it's time for them to come out. The fact that they're coming out, that's a sign of new earth. Children are born now more highly evolved. If you got children, nieces, nephews, grandkids, pay attention to those kids. They're highly evolved. They're doing things differently than we certainly did. Special needs, not spiritual needs. My S's are confused. Special needs people used to be listed as special needs, like perhaps below. I don't know. Lesser people need to be watched out for. Now we're understanding that special needs people are our gateway to new earth. I, as a matter of fact, have several people in my family, one of them being my sister, and my housemate has autism. She is beautiful and she teaches me things every single day. This is a sign of new earth. Finally, the fact that you are here watching this video provides that you relate to 5D consciousness. You may be in it, you may be researching it, you could be transitioning it, or transcending. Well, thank you so much. I did pull a card for today, and that card is, if I can get it on camera here, the Three of Cups. There it is. Let me read the passage that comes along with this card. Notable to me is it does look like spring in this. There's a lot of beautiful plants down in the bottom of that card. So I'm guessing that we are doing the work now so that when we emerge in the spring, that it'll be very joyous, community focused, because we've got 3 people here. Interesting that there's a lot of Venus energy because they're female, right? And they're looking up to the stars in the sky for some direction. Here's the passage. I connect into this sacred siblinghood and into this expansive experience of witnessing through time. You don't have to be blood relatives to be part of a tribe, that's for sure. Let me read it again. I connect into this sacred siblinghood and into this expansive experience of witnessing through time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly do appreciate it. If you like this video, please do click the like button. If you know someone who could be helped by this video, please do share it with them. If you'd like to subscribe, knowing when the videos are being dropped, click the subscribe button and you most certainly will be let know when a video is being dropped. Also, thank you for joining us. To the new subscribers, thank you for everyone for watching. I really, truly do appreciate the support. Have a fabulous week. Namaste.